Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the opening week, the inaugural week of the RLO Masters. I am Formal. Still joining me is Yummy. We managed to keep him around all the way until the very end, and why would he leave? It's OCE's El Clasico to finish us off. Renegades taking on the Cringe Society.
Yeah, I might be having an existential crisis, but I still exist physically in this form at the moment. Maybe a bit unfortunate, but it's not unfortunate that we have the two best teams in OCE, or at least the two teams that have been battling it out back and forth. And, the last two times these guys played, Cringe and Renegades, was in the league where they went to Game 7 overtime. So these guys always keep it close.
Yeah, they always seem to go back and forth with each other. Currently 1-1 in RLCS Fall Grand Finals as well, with each of them taking their own victory there. Now, those ones didn't go the distance to Game 7 necessarily, but history has shown that when playing here on RLO, things have seemed to favor the Renegades time and time again as we take one look at these iconic lineups. Cringe Society, Torsos, Drippe, and Deca. For the Renegades, CJ, Kami, and Express.
And it'll also be, I think, a bit more onus on Renegades having a big performance after being dropped down to a very clear second place in the RLCS X standings after coming third to fourth, losing to Ground Zero. They've already got the revenge there, and now they're moving on to take down Cringe Society, who have had a couple of rough series so far today. They went to Game 5, reasonably close one with Sneaky Boys, sorry. And then in the last game against Gaming Gamers, it was a one-goal Game 5 that certainly could have gone either way.
Yeah, I mean, there was also a couple tough overtime losses as well during that series against the Gaming Gamers. So Cringe Society perhaps with a bit more to prove right now. I think both these teams didn't really have that clean path to the grand final that they may have been looking for. But it's not about the journey, it's about the results, says me, and not really how that saying goes. But that's what's going to matter here today, as there is a small difference between the prize pools for first and second place in this one. I believe it's 150 for first with only 50 for second. So playing for a little bit of money on the line, but more importantly, it's all about getting to that monthly final. Both these teams have qualified, I believe, by making it to the finals right now. Still, though, it's always nice to get some edge up on your competition.
Yeah, well, especially because it's not just about getting to the monthly final too, but also getting some favorable seeding. When you come first, just like in RLCSX, you get that extra 1 point that's going to really help people out with when it comes to those tiebreakers. It really counts. Of course, it's like 21, 31 points, I think, total, but the extra 1 point really does matter at the end of the day. But I think between these two teams, they're going to be playing for pride. They're going to be playing to prove that they're the best in OCE. Renegades got put tied second with Ground Zero in the power rankings from RLO. They're not going to be happy with that. They want to take number one.
Yeah, at the same token, so does Cringe Society. This is a team that has always been put together to be the best in OCE, and you can't do that if you're losing to the Renegades regularly in RLO events. So it'll be nice for them to try and break that trend, maybe get one over their rival. This best of seven is going to be a very exciting one and a very telling one as well, because you do carry the momentum from this event right on over to that RLCSX major happening this week, and these are still probably the two favorites for that event as well, despite GZ taking that third regional. So a lot on the line for these two teams.
Well, the winner goes home, probably being titled the best team in OCE, given how close it is at the very top of the region. It's going to be up to Cringe Society. I feel like they've had a couple of rough grand finals, maybe give an advantage of having played so well in those top 16s to get those top seeds. Still the same today, with the top seed giving them a nice bracket in that upper side. Now they're really going to be put to the test. Will they lose 3 grand finals in a row?
That would be a bit heartbreaking for Cringe Society, especially when you consider how many grand finals they actually have sort of dropped throughout the year, a lot of them to the Renegades, not just within that RLCSX, but events like the Spring Series comes to mind, the Anzac Invitational comes to mind. Cringe Society have always been so close, yet they've never really won a lot of those events. So getting more winning mentality, getting more victories under their belt, obviously is what this team is made for. Kami trying to set something up off the backboard right now. Siki is there in the corner, might be able to find that in-pitch pass. It's a bit of a lob shot, nearly goes in, but CJ was unable to find the ball.
You can see Cringe Society really slowing the ball down on defense and making themselves a little bit awkward, a bit caught in the same position as they're grinding a bit to a halt. But again, what we've seen across the last couple of months has been Cringe Society playing a much more defensive style, a much more grounded style overall, and trying to grind away at their opponents.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see that style shift coming from Cringe Society, who at the start of the year were very much an offense-oriented team, but they've kind of become a more complete team as the year has moved on, and they have seen better results overall as a result of that. Obviously, the inclusion of Deca has helped this team as well sort of take it to that next level, but it's all about, you know, what have you done recently, and this being that most recent affair, they do want this victory. Renegades have had a few more scoring opportunities, though, in these early minutes.
I really question that, though. Have they had better results? Sure, they got one win, but even they'd admit that their opponents, Renegades, weren't playing, you know, their best in that one. Outside of that, they keep making grand finals and coming out second best, which is what's been happening all year long so far. I mean, it's obviously better than coming third place in RLCS, but that was one performance. They've kind of continued being always the bridesmaids. They've tasted a bit of success now. They have to find that once again.
That they do, and they're looking for it at the moment, although their attacking pressure is quickly stifled by a nice three-player pass by the Renegades to set themselves up. Wide open net for Kami, yet he cannot beat out Deca. CJ throws it back across the box, but the defense will make that read once more.
Well, the quick plays coming out from Renegades, but again, the defense is looking pretty chill for Cringe Society. They're happy to stay in net and make the defense, and that's actually also causing Renegades to have to take shots further out, which Cringe Society always going to be equal to, just like Deca there.
Yeah, so Renegades instead try to push it a bit further forward. Kami unable to get around that one. Zell sets up CJ, however, and the Renegades eventually strike first.
This has been very similar to what we've seen so far. Torsos misses that one. I didn't really think that he had an easy shot, but he certainly had it easier than he made it look. So his first goal going to the Renegades. But similar to how they played against Ground Zero, they look like they're getting much more control at the start of the game, though that was a first real good look here for Cringe Society. Another good one as it forces out a bit of a triple commit, but it won't be enough to generate the goal just yet. This could be from Drippe, but CJ just on the line. A good set of attack coming out from Cringe Society.
Yeah, it's a good set of attack, but it's also good defense out of the Renegades. Those last-second saves have led to a bit of a counterattack opportunity. Kami doesn't make the read on Torsos, who does find Drippe with the pass. Siki looks to throw it right back, however, gets demoed for his efforts, yet the ball still will bounce off that backboard. Kami with that shot a little bit too soft, so Drippe is able to make that read. 1 minute to go, a one-goal lead for the Renegades. It can all switch in a moment, yet CJ finds another clutch save.
CJ's always gone early up to that backboard. He does it again, covering an angle that was certainly dangerous if there was no one up there. I mean, if you're Cringe Society, you're going to have to find something else. CJ, I don't know what team he's playing for right now, but we've seen him play Imposter a few times in the last few weeks as well.
I saw him vent. He's in red. It all makes sense to me, as we do see Drippe now trying to set something up at the moment. Can't quite get that ball to the backboard, and Siki will cut him off. Torsos as well with the chance, gets the bump, but Deca a little too far back to find the goal. 20 seconds remaining, time working against Cringe Society. They need to create some offensive presence right about now. Deca may have just done it.
And it's all about time, as you said. I mean, they're generating some good opportunities now, but they're slowing it down a bit too much to give extra time to the Renegades defense, and now they're stuck in their own half. Cringe Society get challenged. Drippe will be up, but beaten to the ball by Siki. This is the last chance now as Deca sends that over to Drippe, but couldn't find the angle. Renegades, very similar to their first semi-final, take game one.
Yeah, it's another low-scoring affair as well to open things off in this grand final. Renegades, as you said, only needing one to get this first victory. Now, our grand final, it is a best of 7, so there's still going to be a long series ahead. Cringe Society has time to bounce back. They've really... I kind of feel as if Cringe Society, though, with a lot of sort of these second-place finishes, have had slower starts and just never realistically been able to find themselves. If they lose this second game, I worry it might start to be a case of history repeating itself.
Yeah, it's kind of as well for Renegades. They always talk about their slow starts. So anyone who gets this early lead is in really good stead in this matchup. So it's a good sign for Renegades, of course, as well. Cringe Society looking very awkward in defense, in my opinion, the way that they were slowing it down a lot, but not also keeping the ball in good positions to follow up, you know, using a second person to get out of defense at any point in time. And that's usually the staple of any team that Torsos and Drippe are on, you know, defensive passes out to the corner, out to each other. And I see a bit more of that.
I do feel as well that slower sort of style would actually benefit a team like the Renegades because they have a certain player named Kami on their team who always seems to find those clutch bumps or demos when defenses do exactly as you're saying. Yet Kami actually had a bit of a slower performance in that game. Didn't really have that impact I was expecting considering the look that Cringe Society were giving us. Now, if they continue to show that look, I don't expect Kami to have another slower performance again. He is the type of player that would probably capitalize on that. So I am hoping to see Cringe Society mix up their defensive approach.
Right, you definitely have a player like Kami. He's letting... He doesn't need to go for everything if Siki's playing as fast as he is in the midfield, but this is crazy that they all backed off away from that one. Giving Drippe some room on the pitch has shown bad results for the opponents, but he's got more room again. Is he going to go for this flip reset play that he's really favored? No. Drippe not making much use of the available space at all, and Kami backs off again. This is absolutely crazy to see from Renegades. You're not expecting them to play so defensively, so you know, away from that Cringe Society attack. It's kind of what costed them that first event, playing so defensively and running away in the first place.
That said, when they do find those counterattacks, they can look dangerous. Siki with a good shot right there. It was a powerful shot, but just not quite in that right position, so the defense was able to make the save. Pace of the game does seem to be picking up a bit as Renegades finally start to move into more aggressive positioning, but even then, it's only CJ, and he gets beat relatively quickly. Both teams just giving each other so much respect during this first minute of game number 2.
Well, the poll certainly going in favor of Cringe Society, 82%. An insane number going for them. I'd actually put these guys very close to a 50-50 in terms of chances of victory. The Cringe Society getting the first in this game is a good start for them in the series. Yeah, Deca doing it himself right there. Nice set up off of that backboard. Torsos does help out with a bit of offensive bumping going on, throws the defense off balance, and a 1-0 lead for Cringe Society in this second game. That was all Renegades needed to take game number 1. Let's see if they can equalize the score once more. Renegades on the attack. That angle actually looks good, but the crossbar is a fickle mistress and pushes the ball right back out. CJ's had some trouble with his accuracy in the crossbar in the past, but that one would have been a miracle to go in given the angle he was coming from. It would have been pure luck. That means the Cringe Society get to hold on to here. We're seeing some more faster challenges come out from Renegades, maybe picking up the pace a little bit here, and that one just floats in. Drippe caught napping. Yeah, a good challenge by CJ. Siki then able to throw it right back to Renegade CJ, and he does get that goal. Tied game, 1 apiece. Still plenty of time, however, for each of these teams to establish more control on the situation. You can really see why Drippe didn't see that coming in the first place. It looked more like CJ was going to be opting for the pass in that situation, that the shot was going to be difficult, and it did come in slow because of that, but it was still on target in a position that Drippe did not expect. Could have been a goal there for Deca, and he's not going to be happy that that didn't go on target. Though a quick counterattack here from Renegades could spell difficulty, but defense gets back in time. Defense, though, still kind of seemingly in an awkward spot. Torsos just kind of throws that ball up there, but because the Renegades are playing so defensively themselves, sending 2 members back, they don't capitalize on that slower situation. Drippe actually pushing the ball towards his own goal. Siki nearly takes advantage of it. Kami now with an opportunity, gets that second touch, but Drippe
there for the save. Still trying to play through the corner is the Renegades. CJ now will have a crack at it, but Deca will beat him to the ball. Siki then wins the ensuing 50-50. Another 50-50 goes the Renegades' way. It leads to a Siki shot, yet Deca, waiting in the goal, makes the save.
The way CJ's playing is actually very good against the Cringe Society defense as well. I mean, everyone else on Renegades is giving them a lot of room, but CJ's at least in a position where he's forcing them to play fast. But this is a very quick attack coming out from Cringe Society to get the lead once again. A bit of a mistouch there, a bit of a challenge coming out from Decker and completely catching Siki off guard.
Not to mention Torsos getting that extra inch higher in order to get to that ball first. Absolutely bangs it on target. 2-1 lead right now for the Cringe Society, and with a demo off the kickoff, they might be able to find another fast one. CJ doesn't collect the pass from Kami, so Kami is forced to play it through. That leaves a semi-exposed net. Siki and CJ are able to get back there, but Deca is far too accurate. 3-1 in favor of the blue side.
That is next level striking from Decker as well. Torsos setting him up nice and early. All of the Renegades players on the ground. Usually CJ would be up early, at least attempting to close the angle, but it was way too late for him there. This is a very good game here for Cringe Society. Just getting good striking on net, taking advantage of the little bit of extra room that has been given away by Renegades in this one.
Yes, and even though the Renegades did win game number 1, they didn't really look or feel like the Renegades we've known. So it's safe to say, I feel at this stage, that Cringe Society were the first team to sort of wake up in this series, and they have sort of found their stride first. And in a series with two teams that are kind of known for their slow starts, I feel this could be big for them. The earnest is back on the Renegades to sort of retake that momentum, or at least start to play with that same sort of edge that we know and love about this team. Drippe from the box tries to clear it straight down the middle, and now the Renegades are starting to push forward. Kami actually in a good position to collect this pass. CJ sets it up nicely, and Kami brings us back within one.
Okay, CJ. Well, he gets that one out, and look at the pre-jump from Kami. That's just the aggression that these guys are able to bring out on a regular basis. It's why they've been able to make multiple goal comebacks once the clock does get pretty close to that 0 mark. They take a lot of risks, and often just pays off for them.
It's what happens when you are a strong mechanical player. Sometimes the risks do reward more often than not. Still 1 goal down, though. Renegades need to find one more strike to possibly take this game into that overtime. CJ is going to look for it right now. Nearly beats out Torsos. Kami, though, tries to find Siki on the pass. Is disrupted by Drippe, but the ball continues to roll towards that net. Deca, interesting touch. Does enough to throw CJ off balance. Ball in the air. Drippe gets there first, and that is a big clear with only half a minute to go.
With half a minute, though, it is in possession of Renegades for the moment. A demo, fortunately, there for CJ, but very quickly shut down by Decker. Again, these clears really run down the time on the clock.
They do, and they run down the boost as well. It makes it that much harder for the Renegades to really get a sustained attack in, although with only 10 seconds remaining, it's only down to 1 or 2 more strikes. Siki able to play along the corridor, but Drippe wins a big 50 on the ground. CJ tries to push it back forward, but Deca's there waiting, holds it in place. Kami finds the angle to bounce it up high. In the corner we go. They cannot maintain possession, and Cringe Society take game number 2.
And they held on to the boost really well at the end there. Something that Cringe Society probably coming out ahead in terms of the pack in this region. Their boost steals, their boost control, really enabled by the fact they are playing this defense slow, a bit more methodical, but also in the midfield are getting the boost away, because Siki may have been able to get up to that last play had he had full boost, but he certainly did not. So Cringe Society making their playstyle work. Renegades, of course, maybe a slight disadvantage after their series against Ground Zero. Not that, anything went wrong there, but they played potentially overly aggressive in that series, and that's where they were getting bitten by Ground Zero. So maybe they're dwelling a little bit too much on their past there.
I mean, they did seemingly come into that Ground Zero series with the big brain strategies, and to see them sort of overthinking their situation right now, it's not too far off of a thought. Sometimes you do just need to fall back to car hit ball good, perhaps, as the Renegades need to bounce back from this one. Cringe Society, the first team to well and truly awaken in this series, despite it being tied at the moment. Game number 3 could be a crucial one if Cringe Society can keep this momentum going.
It is a best of 7, which is certainly going to make sure that these teams really prove that they are the best. And Again, both these teams are so experienced. They should be able to adapt over the series. At the moment, Cringe Society are going to be totally happy with their playstyle and how it's working and how much room they've been able to get on this pitch.
As we do see a bit of a meatball in the middle right there. Was caught initially by the Renegades, yet Drippe throws it all the way back, nearly finding that goal. Kami makes the save. Drippe, with some of his defensive clears and touches, has been looking fantastic so far in all three of these games.
Certainly holding a bit more of the defense, but also pushing forward when needed, and no bump there, but it has been a double commit. Drippe gets the first touch as CJ wasn't able to find the net. More plays that have been missed. More sloppy gameplay coming out from Renegades. That's a shot on target, but just goes wide for Drippe, who's having a very strong offensive performance so far this game.
Drippe is just having a strong performance overall, I feel, but Sticky, he'd bring it back. Torsos will shut it down with a pass to Drippe. That will get close to the backboard. CJ is able to find it, tries to hit Kami over the middle, yet Deka steals it off of him. Sticky versus Drippe just bumps the car and not really the ball, so more attacking pressure perhaps from Cringe Society. Too slow to it means Kami finds the clear.
That's a good challenge from Deka, not because it really turned into anything for his team, but because he made sure that the play would happen as quick as possible and rush the Renegades players, and that's, again, when Renegades have looked their worst. And as well, in terms of that challenge, Deka is making sure he recovers nice and quickly and plays that third man role so well.
Sticky, nice sort of touch through the corner right there. CJ tries to follow it through, but Drippe is quick to the ball. Eventually, Sticky does beat out the attacking Cringe Society member, but it's not a clean beat as Deka now making defenders miss. Finally, Kami puts an end to the shenanigans, yet Torsos still looking for that goal. Drippe from underneath puts the shot, yet it bounces off the crossbar. Missed opportunity. Deka cannot follow it through.
They had the best lick of it right there, but it was like a 9-volt battery. Drippe put it in, and it's going to be cringing a little bit after that one. Even still, Renegades looking so unclean. We've seen some midfield bumps from each other. Just rough gameplay overall, and it's kind of what's been happening in this last weekend as well. It's cost them against both Ground Zero and Cringe Society in the past. You have to figure out what the magic formula was in the past, but around the corner again, another staple here for Renegades.
Yep, we talked about it earlier today. The threat from those corner passes, CJ, the first one in the box, just has a wide open net to bang that one through after the setup from Kami. Renegades, they take that lead at roughly the halfway point of game number 3. They have a good kickoff as well. They might be able to try to add to it, yet they're kind of a little bit slow on that approach. Already we see one miss coming through. CJ, though, steals it away and nearly puts it on target.
He has a chance to get this one out of defense, and starting to see a little bit more out of Renegades in terms of their attacking pressure. That's a real big opening of the net, but oh no, CJ again. Open nets just aren't scoreable for him.
That is an unfortunate miss that he is going to want to have back, especially in a tight series like this, which might get tighter. Torsos almost finds the goal from mid-pitch. Still, Cringe Society is going to be on the hunt right now. CJ does get it over the top of Deka, forces Torsos back, gets the ball. No one's actually grabbing that boost, interestingly enough. Instead, Torsos finds the pass to Drippe. That one shot on target, but it's still an easy save for Kami to make.
Yeah, Kami's very good at recognizing when the shot's about to come in and holding that net every single time, but CJ and his shady cosplay hasn't been doing them any favors at the moment. There's still one goal in the lead, and they are looking better overall, but the mistakes, I feel, are really ramping up in just terms of missing plays and double committing and bumping each other. It's kind of insane to see how different Renegades on top form and Renegades when they're struggling can be.
Yet the Renegades still find themselves with the 1-goal lead as we hit the final minute of game number 3. So despite the Renegades' struggle, Cringe Society, they haven't been able to capitalize on it just yet. The Renegades doing just enough to hold on and could be looking to add to the lead right now. It's off of that backboard. Sticky with the 50, instead pushes it into the corner. Possession now in Drippe's hands. Cannot get it past Kami. Torsos with the follow-through, though. Does mean Cringe Society still hunting for that equalizing goal.
Yeah, I don't think Cringe Society with their defensive style has been as threatening as they normally are, and they haven't been able to steal as much boost, so that's why, you know, Renegades are still able to hold on to a 1-goal lead the way things are going. You always know that Torsos could come out with something brilliant. It's the power of Torsos, the fact that he can score goals that may not have existed before he gets a touch on it. But for now, Kami is the player who's controlling the midfield the most. CJ gets challenged there, 10 seconds remaining. Actually, Deca has a chance here. He gets to the dunk. Torsos may be able to find something. It's over to Drippe. It's on target. 2 players up. It's going to be Kami to get the clear. This will hit the ground. No, actually, Siki keeps it up. A dangerous play for him when the ball was about to hit the ground. Maybe not recognizing it, but CJ will put it down. Renegades take the lead.
Yeah, that was a interesting 0-second play right there. Cringe Society given more opportunities than perhaps they should have been able to achieve given the situation, but the Renegades do eventually down it, and they retake the lead of the series, now up 2-1. Cringe Society, though, it felt like more they regressed than the Renegades kind of rising up to the Cringe Society's level. A very sloppy final series thus far, and I'm still waiting for one of these teams to really take it over.
It still baffles me how successful Renegades are able to be from this corner, because it should have been 2 corner goals. The second one of the big demo that CJ managed to, let's say, just be its biggest fan. He really blew past that one. For Cringe Society, though, they're just playing very defensive. It's a very safe style that should, in my opinion, be able to capitalize on the mistakes that Renegades are making, but it feels like their touches away, their counterattacks aren't as fast as normal. They don't have that player kind of in that redirect position. Drippe is not quite getting those solo plays in the air that have been powerful as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be really curious to go back and sort of watch CJ's own viewpoint on that missed goal from there before, because I'm curious if there's something that we missed that may have led to him, unfortunately, missing the ball. Kickoff, though, from Torsos nearly finds a quick goal in game number 4. Cringe Society, they are down once more in this series. Last time they were down, they bounced back quite quickly and in convincing fashion in game number 2, and they're trying to start game number 4 in that similar fashion, but Torsos keeps getting stopped by last-second defensive efforts.
This is way better as well from Cringe Society. They're making their own success. The bumps haven't been here so far, realistically, this series, and that's how they won event number 1. So many bumps, so many demos, Torsos getting really involved. And we've seen a few more of them already at the beginning of this. They've seen, I feel like Renegades only just holding on, with CJ had been pretty awkward in that defense. Now we have another chance of a big pressure play coming out. It's actually an attempted solo play from Torsos in the end.
Yeah, Siki would then try to clear it, but only really got it to the middle of the pitch. Kami tries to push it forward. Siki, another opportunity, cannot quite get that touch he was looking for. So Cringe Society, another attacking opportunity at the moment. CJ gets it off the ceiling and to Kami. Siki now with the chance, just muscles Tekka off of that ball. Gets it past Torsos as well, yet no one in the box to finish the play off.
Siki becoming a weightlifter, trying to absolutely out-muscle, staunch the defense, and it's worked pretty well just to set up this pressure. Torsos had a bit of a backflip, realized he needed to remove out of the first committal, and it almost cost him. A quick recovery will keep him in good stead, and these demos from Torsos, not only turning it from what would have been a regular Renegades counterattack, but actually gives Cringe Society a chance of their own.
It's only a short chance, however, as eventually we do see that clear, and the shot come through. Renegades take the lead in game number 4.
That's as quick as it comes in terms of short passing over to CJ. Nice angle as well. Nice placement from CJ, knowing, how many nets he's missed today. He makes sure to go for the safe play right dead in the middle.
Absolutely, and that does give the Renegades another 1-0 lead. It's these leads that they've been able to hold on to sort of throughout the day thus far, as Cringe Society looking to strike back, ball off that backboard, but Drippe with a bit of a miss. I think he might have gotten bumped off by Siki. Does mean the Renegades will have their own scoring opportunity. Good 50 by CJ, keeps the ball on the blue side of the pitch. Teammates bumping into each other on Cringe Society as well, yet they still find that opening to take it back the other way.
Our Renegades need to pick up the pace. We're not seeing as many mistakes from them in this game. Of course, also, I'd feel like their attacking prowess still not really up to what we expect from Renegades, but this demo could open it up. Can they get into middle quickly? They can! CJ has found the net again, 2 times in one game. Has this ever been seen before?
He's batting 100 right now in game number 4. Torsos nearly able to get back in time, but realistically that play was set up from the demo out of Siki on that upper half of the pitch. Gets the demo, is able to get the ball with enough time to find that pass back down to CJ, and now with the 2-goal lead, make it 3 perhaps, as Siki goes straight down the middle off of the kickoff.
Great performance already from Siki. I'll point out before when it comes to CJ, he's able to get these 2 goals because neither of them were open, which is probably the most difficult one for him to get. But for now, Siki stepping up. He's got 2 assists, got a goal, and this is a position that Renegades will be very comfortable in. This is where it may even be death knell for Cringe Society, because I feel like when they're 3-0 in the lead, Renegades are good at just pushing the ball forward, playing a bit more of a pressure game, though CJ really playing with the goal line there.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a good attack to come from the Cringe Society, but again, players bumping into each other as it looked like Drippe just got bumped completely out of it by Deca. Still, Renegades weren't able to capitalize right away. They're still in that attacking half at the moment. CJ can't find the ball from underneath. Siki still keeps it on the blue side, and now CJ with another shot. This time a defender was in the way. It was Drippe, and that save was critical for Cringe Society's chances.
And I'm much preferring the defense. Actually, maybe it's not what I was saying, where Renegades will get comfortable in their style. I actually feel like Cringe Society are upping the pace in the defense. They're getting counterattacks a bit faster, and they're not being as caught up on each other as they were earlier on the series. Maybe the fact that they need to get these 3 goals, that they are pushing forward a lot, will help them out in terms of their play throughout the rest of the series, no matter how this game goes.
It just seems to be a case from both these teams that when they are more willing to take these risks, more often than not, they do succeed in them, and that's kind of when they start to play to their peak performances. The passive play from both sides has been a little bit disheartening overall, and I'd like to dig deeper into the psyches of these players to figure out why perhaps they're putting forth these different looks. Is it maybe hiding things from their opponents? Is it because, this isn't perhaps the RLCS? Either way, though, as soon as they get that momentum going, as soon as they're able to establish these attacks, they look much more akin to these teams we know and love. Going into Game 5 right now, it does look as if the Renegades are going to be able to hold on, and I want to see more of that aggressive Cringe Society moving forwards.
Yeah, some great defense from Cringe Society, but obviously this is Renegades keeping pressure on, keeping them at reasonably low boost, and unlike all the boost control that Cringe Society had earlier, they're starting to get a little bit boost starved by that Renegades attack, which is making it very difficult for them to even get 1 goal on the board, let alone 3.
5 seconds remaining. We could see some fun shenanigans happen on the 0-second mark. Pinch, though, drives the ball straight into the ground, and the Renegades move to match and essentially tournament point at this stage. They are now 1 game away from winning this first week.
Well, this would be a real statement from Renegades, a 3-1 against Ground Zero. If they 4-1'd Cringe Society, you definitely have to say they were back on top, and we know that they said that they were slumping this last week. I still feel they're trying to come out of that right now, and yet have been good enough today to be able to take down their 2 biggest rivals if this next game goes their way.
Yeah, that is a big if, however. Cringe Society, you still always have that feeling that they can sort of switch on at any given moment, though if they're going to, they might have to find a way to slow down one Siki on the Renegades. He had 7 shots last game, again, kind of outdoing everyone else on the pitch. Siki seems to be that player in particular that the later and later these series get, the larger and larger impact he is having, and if he puts forth another big impact game like we saw in that semifinals, it could be all but over for Cringe Society.
Well, I really worry about Cringe Society if it kind of ends up playing out the same way as it did, after that 3-goal lead. Because you just saw a lot of forward play, a lot of aggressive bumps and boost steal, and it just continues. Bumps, boost steals, goals.
Yes, but that's not to take anything away from Siki for the angle he finds on this one. It was an open net, so he didn't need to bang it as hard as he possibly would like, but still, sloppy defense, insane angle from Siki, 1-0 lead for the Renegades.
Very early start again, and for Renegades, it's always good signs to them to get that early goal. They're still really strong from behind, but when they're getting these leads, they feel a lot more comfortable, it seems. Cringe Society going to have to figure out how to make this work. Deca with the solo play. That's actually forced Drippe to go back, but Drippe's getting some nice aggression here. Off the corner, Torsos will have to make a play a bit more solo than usual. Does get that across to Deca. Passes some Torsos on the backboard have been very good, but Renegades certainly been up to the task all series long in terms of saving those ones out.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because we did see the Cringe Society looking for more of those bumps and more of those demos, yet it was CJ hiding within the goal that they seemed to avoid, and CJ did a good job in clearing it back down the pitch and nearly found that pass to Siki in the box. Now, Cringe Society with another opportunity perhaps to find this equalizer. Deka tries to muscle it over the top of Kami, but instead just hand delivers it right back to CJ, runs out of boost, so can't make the play past Drippe. Deka tries to take it straight into the net. Siki does fall out of the box along with CJ, has to race back, now finds the pass to Kami. Renegades defense starting to look more and more dynamic as this series progresses.
And part of that is the counterattacks from Cringe Society being a lot like that. Hit the ball forward rather than find some angle and push somebody up really quickly. We're kind of missing that player pushing themselves forward nice and early, and usually that's Torsos. He hasn't been doing it here, and this is as open as it gets. I don't even understand how this ends up becoming a goal.
It was just a poor touch, unfortunately, from Drippe, pushing it backwards instead of forwards. But even then, with two Renegades player racing at him, had he sort of pressed that forward, he would have just gotten dunked on, and we still would have seen that same situation. No rotation back from Cringe Society, and they get punished immediately. A 2-0 lead now for the Renegades.
I think at least for now, Renegades will be happy that they've sort of figured things out mid-series. They've at least figured it out for the last two games and felt a lot more controlling, just like in game number one. They are playing a lot more aggressive as well and going for a lot more plays, which is really testing this Cringe Society defense to that next level. It's held on really well for most of the series, but it's always a worry when you have to rely on saving every single play.
Siki nearly finds the second touch right there. Halfway through this game number 5, Kami puts the shot on. Torsos able to make the save, and pressure has to be mounting at a very rapid race right now. Oh my goodness, that 50 almost goes in, but Siki gets in the way. Just over 2 minutes remaining, and it's Cringe Society who is running out of time.
That was attempted pre-jump pinch as well from CJ, and it could have been spectacular. Maybe a bit of miscommunication on how many touches would actually be pulled out by Siki. So, Renegades certainly back themselves in terms of having played together so long that they know what touches are going to come out from each other. But it's the same between Torsos and Drippe. You saw it right there. It just hasn't really panned out for either teams making that play, which is totally fine for Renegades because they don't need that goal.
No, at this stage, they do not. CJ, again, he's been impressing me with a lot of these defensive touches, usually winding up as that third man, which is a little bit unusual to see him in at the moment, trying to kind of muscle it past, but it's Torsos who takes it away. Cringe Society desperately need to get something going, but again, it's just sort of a roller right in the middle, and it's too easy of a read for the Renegades to make. They take it right back to that blue side of the pitch. They put some attacking pressure on, yet Kami, with that miss, actually might set up Drippe. Torsos needs to get there first, yet is unable to.
Some solid defense coming out from Renegades, just stopping the attack before it comes, though that is a great intercept from Drippe, catching that defense off guard, and this could be dangerous, though. It's actually a pass back to CJ, a chance here for Kami to get double number 4. Quite happen, but every single time they hit this ball forward, it's using a bit more boost away from Cringe Society. Decker a nice shot on, and actually, no! That was their best chance right there.
Taking a page perhaps out of CJ's book, that was looking so good for Cringe Society, but unable to push it in. That's got to be so demoralizing for the Cringe Society at this stage of the game. 30 seconds ago, 2 goals down. Another Rocket League Oceania tournament and another shortcoming affair for this blue side. 20 seconds remaining, and the Renegades aren't letting anything past them.
Yeah, at least for Decker, you know, the fact that he didn't get that net, it was excusable. What's not excusable was CJ's open net misses. They get goal number 3. And even though the Renegades are about to win, if you're CJ, you might feel like you've taken a bit of an L today.
Yeah, Kami, though, he's coming away with a big fat dub. So is the likes of Siki, and the Renegades as a whole, I think, are going to be super happy with the results here today. They will be taking the first week of the RLO Masters. I mean, Renegades and winning a Rocket League Oceania event. Name a more iconic duo in 2020. Time and time again that they come out on top of the Cringe Society. And to start off yet this new chapter, it's no different once more.
Point out the CJ missed another one, so that is just an extra topping right there at the end. But Renegades the champions, and I would say on a personal level, right now, the undisputed best team in OCE. Of course, that might last just one day because the OCE majors do happen next, and this is just a lead up to that right now. All the teams looking towards the weekend, and who has the best look going in? It's Renegades.
Yeah, it's really interesting right now in OCE because it's always sort of like, which team looks the best? Well, which team was the most recent one to win an event? And yes, as you said, it is the Renegades. They've sort of retaken that crown. So the momentum will be with them going into this major this weekend. However, I do imagine that some of these top-seeded teams might have different looks in that major event, especially when playing against each other. I doubt we're going to see that defensive look from the Renegades, the more slower controlled approach from Cringe Society. I think once we hit that major, these teams are going to be playing that more high-risk style because what will they have to lose at that stage?
Maybe, but Cringe Society have been playing defensive all season long. It's kind of been what they're leaning into, and in this one, they weren't able to find those bumps, they weren't able to find those demos. We saw those moments of brilliance, and in that game, they actually got, that they won, they got a couple of good demo plays that opened up the net. But, you know, they just haven't been able to figure out how to consistently sit at that. It is a newer style for Cringe Society, but they've been, you know, executing it for 3 events so far. They do not have really any time to fix that, so they're going to just have to hope that this was a bit of a rough day for them.
Yes, it was. However, when you take a look at the larger picture of it all, Cringe Society are still going to be sitting in a comfortable position in regards to the standings of the RLO Masters. Now, a look at that playoff bracket, that's what transpired today. But more important, I feel, for these teams are these monthly standings. As you can see, the Renegades out on top at the moment. Cringe Society in second. Our semifinalists, Ground Zero and Gaming Gamers, will be tied for third. And the rest of our quarterfinalists will be kind of rounding out that top 8. Now, some of those teams that didn't make through the group stages but still had strong performances include Canberra Havoc, Solicit, Hazard Esports, and Obunga. Fury, Fairrock, Southern Stars, and Vertex, well, they still have 3 more weeks to sort of pick things back up for them.
Yeah, they just need a big performance, especially, you know, the likes of Fury maybe have a big run, though. They played with Luna today, so interesting to see how that kind of is panning out. But I think the real story for today, of course, outside of your likes of Renegades having that huge run and Gaming Gamers managing to get another top 4, mostly because of Mindfreak coming out in the lower bracket, is actually Riot Gaming. They had a surprise run, took down, you know, Globo Gym, who are now, you know, good and whatever they are. Nobody really cares. They're good and useful. Yeah. They took them down and made sure to get into this spot in the first place. So they're in a handy, good and useful in a handy position. Sneaky boys all in handy positions to get themselves into that monthly final.
Absolutely, because the monthly final is where the big money will start to be dished out. So that should be the goal of all of these teams. And realistically, I think the goal for everyone who's been watching at home is, well, not only to follow Rocket League Oceania, but keep your eyes also tuned to this major that is happening this weekend, because this is going to be very, very telling. It is sort of that main event, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, should be brilliant. If you guys don't know, 11 a.m. AEDT, 10 a.m. AEST, and I think that's 5 p.m. PDT on the west coast of America. If you want to tune into that one, it is going to be big. We're going to have, it's going to be on the Rocket League channel, so it's certainly something to watch. And also for these teams, we talk about today being a bit of a separator to see Renegades come out at the top. Well, that's going to be the true one. Whoever wins that will be the head of the competition, assuming it's one of the top 4.
Similarly, and they'll take that momentum sort of right back here as well, because this is a weekly event. So if you did enjoy the RLO Masters, well, we're going to be going all week, all through October, all through November. A bit of a break in December, but then we're back in January, February, and March. This is going to be a reoccurring thing, which is great for that region, help keeping a lot of these teams going. So I know I'm looking forward to see how this league sort of progresses. I'm hoping you all are as well. And on that note, it's time to say goodnight. So have a great night, everybody, and I look forward to seeing what happens this weekend.